You're listening to the Renegade Bass Fishing Show, powered by BRP Evinrude, Ranger Boats, and Orleans Boat World on Team 1200.
Once again, folks, we're always joined by great experts who provide us with so much information for everything with respect to the outdoors. This morning is no different. We're joined by Dave Hull, manager of Total Battery. Total Battery is kind of an institution here in Ottawa. They have everything with regards to batteries, whether it's for a scooter, whether it's for your boat, whether it's for your calculator. They pretty much carry it all. Dave, good morning. How are you doing this morning?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing wonderfully. I mean, it's a little bit of a bittersweet thing. I'm a bit of a diehard, so my boat won't go quite away. But for most of the normal people out there in listenership, they are getting ready, or if they haven't already done so. And you always hear about these people in the summertime or in the spring when they get their boats out, complaining about a problem with their batteries. And I guess really it comes down to putting them away properly, because a good battery or modern battery should last you, several seasons. Maybe you can give us a basic rundown of why there is a problem with batteries in the spring if they're not properly put to bed, so to speak.
Yeah, sure. I mean, in most cases, people don't think that they need to put the batteries away. And a lot of times this is caused by misinformation where they think that it can sit in the boat all winter, but that's not really the case. So really what people want to do to really make sure they get the value out of their investment is to disconnect the batteries, take them right out of the boat, take them out of the cold weather, and get a good constant current charger to keep those batteries good throughout the off-season, because that's when they're going to go bad. They're not going to go bad when they're in constant use and being recharged and cared for. They're going to go bad when they're sitting there spoiling and getting old. Yeah,
I guess basically in the interest of our listenership out there, so your recommendation is that before you take it to your marina or whatever else, pull the batteries out. They certainly can attach a booster pack to winterize your engine, but take your batteries out. We're talking about the batteries for your deep cycles, for your trolling motors, and of course your cranking batteries. Bring them into a place like your garage. And when you talk about constant current charger, what are you talking about, Dave?
Okay, well, most people know as a maintenance charger the terms trickle charger or tapered charger thrown around. Those are older technologies, and I mean, they've been okay in the past because that's all there's been, but they're basically timer-based chargers. And when you're dealing with storage for such a long period of time, it's not a good idea to have a charger that's going to, its on-off function is going to be based on a timer and not the actual charge rate and size of the battery. So a constant current charger is just a lot smarter in the fact that it knows when to shut off, but the difference is it also knows when to turn on, and it's able to do both phases gently. It's able to slowly turn off, and it's able to slowly turn on, leaving no shock or heat to the plates of the battery, keeping it in top condition.
So I guess basically what it comes down to is that, because you're not using the battery, you really want to just maintain the charge, because I know we spoke a little bit about off-air, and I know there's some articles out there, but in the interest of making sure everyone's well-informed, batteries will lose, 10, 15% just sitting idle per month, right?
Correct. Depending on the temperature, you'll lose quite a bit of charge out of those batteries. And what is happening when that takes place is your solution is turning to water, and sulfation will start to occur in the batteries when they're even partially discharged if they're sitting that way. So
obviously the worst thing for a battery is to kind of sit idle without having some maintenance done to it, like you're talking about topping it up over the winter. I know some of these constant current chargers, they're not that expensive, are they?
They're not. I mean, we have 1 amp models starting at just over $30. And I mean, that charger is a 1 amp charger. It's not a high charge rate, but when you're just maintaining a battery, you're just fighting the self-discharge of the cell. Meaning, I mean, that one charger, you could parallel up to 5 batteries that are of similar size, and you could maintain them all with the one unit.
So when you say you've got paralleling them, you're talking about taking your 2 or 3 batteries, connecting all the positives together, connecting all the negatives together, and then hooking up your charger and just having that one small little charger just kind of combat the natural discharging that's occurring.
Yeah, that's exactly right. We want to connect those up, connect the positives, connect the negatives, and it's usually best to connect the charger on the positive on the one end of the set of batteries and the negative on the other set, just so you get a good even charge across the whole bank.
I know when you're mentioning this, of course, their website is www.totalbattery.com. There are diagrams, and there's even a live chat, I understand, on your website.
There is, actually. We just started this up, and it's starting to work out really good. If you go to totalbattery.com, during the day, you should see the live chat button available, and you can click in and you can get help, from somebody who knows their stuff. In a lot of the cases, it'll be me, and you can get that help almost instantly. So if you have questions, you're not finding what you need on the site, there's so many ways to contact us, and the live chat just makes it really simple to not have to pick up your phone, not get out of your chair, and just figure out right then and there what you need.
Yeah, always information is so critical. And the neat thing is that, and I'm sure, you working in the industry have heard 1,000 different stories, and most of them are quite contradictory. Just like the old NiCad batteries and battery memory, and they always assume the same thing with their car batteries or their deep cycle batteries. They got to discharge them. So before you make any mistakes, folks, obviously you go to totalbattery.com. You can certainly contact them. They've got a couple locations here in Ottawa, and they've got locations across Ontario as well. All the information's there, and you can get the right information and get the right charges to make sure you don't worry about those kinds of things come the springtime. Dave, the other thing I wanted to kind of talk about is, with respect to batteries, particularly deep cycle batteries, I wanted you maybe to give the basic information on what is the big difference between a deep cycle battery and a cranking battery. Because most people, just enjoy fishing or just enjoy the outdoors, whether it's on their ATV or whatever else, just kind of look at it as this big black box with a positive, negative post. But certainly the architecture, the construction, and the design are quite different for those different tasks.
Yeah, they do look very similar at a glance, but if you were to cut those batteries open, you would find that a car battery or a starting battery, because they also do make marine cranking batteries.
Sure.
You will find that each cell, and we're speaking about a 12-volt battery in this case, that 12-volt battery, if you cut it open, it's actually 6 individual 2-volt batteries that are only connected by a bus bar. Now, the difference between the starting and the deep cycle is going to be the thickness and quantity of the plates. In a starting battery, you're going to find a lot of plates per cell, and they're going to be quite thin, whereas in the deep cycle, you're going to find fewer plates, but they're going to be quite thicker. And the reason of this is, how much energy they can deliver over what time. When you're starting an engine, you need a very high load of amps to deliver to that engine to crank it over, hundreds of amps. But with a deep cycle, you're running maybe a couple amps, maybe, 10 to 20 amps, but you need that to extend over a period of time. So that is basically the difference is the plate thickness and quantity.
So certainly, obviously, much like we already communicated, if you're wondering what kind of battery, go visit the folks, go speak to Dave. You can certainly call him. You can go in live chat, and they'll give you the information because I've unfortunately seen lots of people waste lots of money purchasing sometimes very expensive batteries, but if it's the battery for the wrong job, then 100% of their investment has been wasted because it wasn't created, and sometimes they get a frustration or a bit of a bad taste, but obviously they can mitigate all of that by contacting you and getting the right information. Dave, listen, thank you so very much for joining us. I know with our year-long program, the luxury is that you can join us back again because I want to talk to you in the cold of the winter. When obviously we go and hear that horrible click, click, click in our car in the parking lot on a -20 night, and I know you'll be able to share some information on how to avoid that.
Oh, definitely. Well, I really look forward to the opportunity, and I think it was great chatting with you guys today. And again, any questions people have, they really can, go on our site, use the multiple channels to contact us, and we'd be more than happy to help.
There you go, folks. TotalBattery.com. We're listening to Dave Hull. Right after the break, we're going to be talking to Darren Jacko from EduCast. You're listening to Renegade Bass Radio on the Team 1200.